Here we are in March of 2025, and what you see is a large reticulated python. And what's happening here is they're doing clearing of trees and brush on the other side of the wall. And that poor snake lived there, and he escaped by climbing into the downspout up to the roof and was in the gutter. But apparently he's just getting way too hot as the sun goes high in the sky, and he's having to evacuate to cool off. So there we see he has now moved to the roof. Now this is actually a common snake in Thailand, and he is not venomous. He could bite you, might cause a little discomfort, may break the skin, but he is not a venomous snake. So you really don't have to worry about him biting you, and he's just trying as hard as he can to get away. And he's getting way too hot. So he's going to evacuate to that tree. Now, since these snakes are very common, and snakes are common in Thailand, as well as the famous Thai water monitor lizard, which can grow to very large sizes, the local fire department actually has a snake division. Yes, I'm serious, a snake division. And we have called the fire department, and they are on their way. Now, they don't show up in a fire truck. The first responders actually ride on motorcycles, and they know they're coming after a snake, so they're prepared to deal with the snake. So the fire department is on their way. Now there we see he's certainly getting a little more comfortable as he gets off that hot roof and there into the shade of that tree. And we can see that he's quite a big snake. He really is. Now, this is the first time we've actually seen him. The construction crew on the other side, the operator of the shovel, saw the snake and it escaped into the drain pipe. And of course they came scrambling to look for it, but where they couldn't find it because he was hiding up there in the gutter. So had to give up, but now he's come out. So we've called them again and they're on their way. Now actually this snake has lived here for many years, and he has caused quite a stir several times. But this is the first time he's been out in the open like this, and he's so vulnerable. And now that all of the trees and growth on the other side of that wall have been cleared, he just really doesn't have a place to escape. So he's thinking that, well, if he stays in that tree, that might be the safest place. And really, around him, there's no place to hide. He's too big, and he just can't really move fast enough. So let's take a look at him. Yeah, hopefully he's cooling down, getting a little more comfortable. And there we see, he is definitely a big snake. And of course, he can get a lot bigger, but he's kind of outgrown his home here. Now here at this compound we have 8 cats, and so he may eat a cat if he had the opportunity, but some of our cats are pretty scrappy and fighty, and they may end up eating him. So I don't think he wants to tangle with one of our cats. Well, there he is. The fire department's on its way. Should be here shortly. And he's just gonna go ahead and coil up in that tree and wait. Oh, now he's coming down. He's thinking, well, maybe he can make for a run for it, but there's just no place for him to run. There is several trees on the compound, but this is the closest one, and I don't think the other trees would do him any good. He could try to get back up on the roof, but it's bright sunshine, and that roof is getting hot, so he's kind of uncomfortable up here. Now here is the fire department. They have arrived. Yes, that's right. This is the fire department, and this is the snake division. That's right. Now, okay, now, one of our fire department people is actually up in the tree right now, and here's his assistant. And fortunately, that tree is pretty strong, and there's actually a steel railing up there that supports that barrier, so they can stand on that comfortably. It's a good thing, because I think he stands a whole lot more danger falling than from the snake. So here they are, getting up there trying to untangle that snake. Now again, this is a non-venomous snake, but it could have been venomous. Now here's our fire chief. I call him the fire chief because look how many radios he has. There he needs to stay in communication with all of his divisions. And there's his snake noose. Now obviously if this had been a venomous snake, he'd need to be real careful, but I don't think he needs to worry about this one. This one's just trying to get away from him. I want to make sure we don't drop those radios. There we go. And we want to make sure we don't fall out of this tree. Now, one thing about the weather here in Thailand, it's always hot. And this is no exception today. And he's working to get the noose around the neck of the snake, and that poor snake, he's just not real well prepared for dealing with something like this. This is a very unusual predator to him. And of course that snake would choose flight instead of fight, but today it just has no place to escape to. Now that snake is going to try to stay in the tree by just coiling up on the branch, but there the assistant's going to get up there to help uncoil him. Now actually what we notice that he does have the noose on the snake's neck, but as he gets further up the tree and actually starts to handle the snake, he removes the noose. Now here we go. Got to get higher up in that tree. And again, falling from the tree is a greater danger than that snake is going to pose. Snake is non-venomous. It's a python. And I guess in places like Florida in the United States, they have a whole lot of these pythons. They're originally introduced as pets and now released into the wild. This is actually a native to Thailand right here. So this never was a pet. This is just a local snake. And of course, as its habitat is removed, the poor snake doesn't really have any place to go. If he were much smaller, he could live there amongst the plants. A lot of our plants are actually in pots, but if he were much smaller, probably the cats would get him. So it's not a good place for him to be. Okay, you'll notice that he's getting ready to actually remove the noose. And he's going to get up there and grab the snake, and his partner is going to unwind it there from the branch, and we're going to bring it down. And here we go.
Here we got to wrestle the snake.
Kind of like a garden hose, untangling a garden hose. And as you'll see in a moment, that snake is several meters long. That is a long snake. Now, here in Thailand, we do have a type of squirrel that lives in the trees. It's a little different from an American squirrel. It's considerably smaller, but that may be one of the favorite meals of this python. Now, we do have rats, but they're not real plentiful where we are. All right, there they are, untangling that snake. That's the hard part. Get him untangled. He is not cooperating. He would just like to stay there, but that's not going to be an option. I know. Pulling his tail, trying to get him straightened out. And there we see the fire chief right there is pulling him down. Be just a moment and we'll have a snake. He's almost out. Come on, snake, let go. Now, one thing that's interesting is the snake doesn't make any noise. There's no hissing, there's no sound from the snake whatsoever. And basically the way the snake is trying to defend itself is just stay in the tree, but they're having to unwind him. And here we go, he's unwound. There's no noose on him now, he's just holding him by the head. Careful not to drop him. So it seems like the snake's almost given up. He realizes that he is no match for these firemen. And so they're bringing him down. Notice no gloves. Don't have to worry about gloves. Now we're going to put the snake in the bag. That's a ventilated bag, so the snake will get lots of air. And there we see the snake division, the fire department. He's in the bag, so goodbye to our snake.